A comparison of instructional methods in training teachers to implement prompting strategies. According to DeGennaro and colleagues, students learn better when teachers implement trials accurately. This means that having effective and consistent staff training is vital to student success. Many methods have been identified as being effective in teaching training strategies, including video modeling and instruction with feedback. Video modeling has been shown to be less effective than behavior training skills in training staff to implement discrete trial training. However, video modeling has been shown to be more effective than written instruction in teaching staff to implement problem-solving procedures. It has also been shown to be more effective than in vivo modeling in teaching verbal and self-help skills to children with autism. Lastly, video modeling is equally as effective as picture prompting simulation strategies in teaching purchasing and banking skills to students with intellectual disabilities. Prompting is an important component of discrete trial training, but prompting always carries the risk of prompt dependency. Prompt dependence is the result of ineffective implementation of prompting strategies during discrete trial training. This can be avoided by effective training on implementation of each prompting strategy, as well as training on prompt fading procedures. Several different prompts have been identified as effective in the literature. Constant prompt delay is a prompting strategy that requires the teacher to deliver the instruction, wait a specified amount of time, typically between 3 and 5 seconds, and deliver a prompt in the absence of a correct response. Simultaneous prompt requires the teacher to deliver the instruction and immediately deliver the prompt. Independent responding is tested when using constant prompt delay after a predetermined number of trials. No prompting requires the teacher to deliver the instruction by responding with no or try again to the first 2 incorrect responses before giving the prompt for the third response. The purpose of our study was to compare the efficacy of video modeling and instruction and feedback in training 3 special education teachers to implement 3 different prompting strategies. The participants for our study included 3 special education teachers employed at East Alton Elementary School. They all had their bachelor's degree in special education and had experience implementing PEAK. Teacher 3 of the participants had no formal training on PEAK implementation. The study took place in the teacher's lounge for 1 hour before the start of the school day. During the training period, the teachers implemented PEAK in the classroom as they typically would. The materials included a video recording of the correct implementation of each prompting strategy, a television, a DVD player, the PEAK book, and the stimuli required for the PEAK books. The video was created from the third-person perspective, and a teacher from the school was used as a model in the video. This was done because peer models have been shown to be more effective than dissimilar models. A multi-element design was conducted in this study. 2 different instructional methods were used for teaching prompting strategies. Each instructional method was paired with different prompting strategies, and the pairings were randomized across teachers. The first treatment phase was the comparison phase, which included both video modeling and instruction with feedback, implemented with 2 different prompting strategies. In the following phase, the most effective instructional method was applied to the prompting strategy previously paired with the least effective instructional method. In the phase after that, the most effective treatment was applied to a third prompting strategy. In all conditions, confederates functioned as students and made errors approximately 30% of the trials with constant prompt delay and no prompting to allow the teachers to perform the correct error corrections. In baseline and group format, the researchers delivered a description of the prompting strategies to the participants, but no instructions were given. During the video modeling, the teachers were shown a video of the correct implementation of a prompting strategy. They implemented the prompting strategy while role-playing PEAK trials with the Confederates functioning as students. Instruction was with feedback. The teachers were given a more detailed written instruction of each prompting strategy and then were provided with feedback. A generalization probe was conducted on 3 separate days with 10 trials each day. A maintenance probe was not conducted due to the fact that the teachers were involved with another study. Procedural integrity was conducted in the form of a task analysis that was created for each instructional method. Independent observers recorded if the procedures were implemented correctly. Inter-observer agreement were collected on 100% of the baseline and intervention trials. Social validity was conducted using a social validity questionnaire adapted from the treatment accessibility rating form revised, and it was delivered to all participants to determine their preference of the treatment, their perceived efficacy of the treatment, and their willingness to continue with the treatment in that way. The criterion for the data was set at 90% or above correct responding for 3 consecutive sessions. Visual inspection was used to determine the efficacy of the treatments, which was evaluated on change in level, trend, and mean.
Here are the results of our study for the written instruction portion. None of the teachers met criterion levels during the written instruction with prompting strategy. For teacher 1, the mean percentage of steps performed correctly was 20% in treatment. There was a 10% change in level from baseline to treatment. For teacher 2, the mean percentage of steps performed correctly was 20% in treatment as well, and there was a 10% change in level from baseline to treatment. And for teacher 3, the mean percentage of steps performed correctly was 25% in treatment, and there was a 10% change in level from baseline to treatment. Written instruction was not applied in the second treatment phase for any teacher, and generalization data were not taken on written instruction because it was not the most effective method for any of the teachers. Here are the results for the video modeling. All of the teachers met criterion levels during the prompting with video modeling strategy. For teacher 1, the mean for video modeling paired with the first prompting strategy was 81%. There was a 40% change in level from baseline to comparison. For the second prompting strategy, the mean was 85%, and there was a 35% change in level from the comparison phase to the video modeling phase. For the third prompting strategy, the mean was 95%, and there was an increase in level from baseline to treatment. Generalization probes were all 85% for all prompting strategies. For teacher 2, the mean for video modeling paired with the first prompting strategy was 71%. There was a 10% increase in level from baseline. For the second prompting strategy, the mean was 20%, and there was a 10% change in level from the comparison phase to the video modeling phase. For the third prompting strategy, the mean was 93%, and there was a 90% change in level from baseline to treatment, and generalization probes ranged from 85 to 90% for all prompting strategies. For teacher 3, the mean for video modeling paired with the first prompting strategy was 86%. There was a 60% increase in level from baseline to comparison phase. For the second prompting strategy, the mean was 83%, and there was a 30% change in level from the comparison phase to the video modeling phase. For the third prompting strategy, the mean was 95%. There was a large increase from the level of baseline to treatment. Generalization probes ranged from 85 to 90% for all prompting strategies. Video modeling was shown to be the most effective training strategy, so it was then paired with a third prompting strategy, simultaneous prompting. Inter-observer agreement was 98% across all baseline trials, 100% across all treatment trials, and all sessions were completed with 100% accuracy according to the procedural integrity checklist we have included in Appendix A. For our social validity measure, all teachers rated video modeling as the most effective and most preferred method of instruction. They reported that it would be minimally disruptive to their daily routine and proficient understanding of all prompting strategies. However, they were uncertain how effective the prompting strategies would be with their students when implemented in the everyday classroom. The results indicate the superior efficacy of video modeling over written instruction. This is important because PEAK is currently being distributed to teachers without a background in behavior analysis and prompting procedures. This warrants the distribution of a video modeling program as an effective training tool to aid teachers in implementing discrete trial training. The results of this study support previous findings that video modeling is more effective in staff training than written instructions. There were several limitations to our study. The first being that when video modeling was applied to the first prompting strategy, there was an immediate increase. This could be due to repeatability. However, this confound could be beneficial for practitioners. The second limitation is that generalization was not tested with the ineffective instructional methods because each prompting strategy was taught with the most effective prompting strategy. Our third limitation is that maintenance was not tested due to a conflicting study which would have confounded the maintenance data. And finally, the fourth limitation is that our study only included 3 participants in one setting, which limits the generalization of the findings. To combat these confounds, future research should focus on comparing video modeling to other training methods, and video modeling should be used to teach more prompting strategies as well as other important skills teachers must possess when implementing discrete trial training. Future research should study generalization and maintenance more thoroughly.